This here is Boom Studios' Mighty Morphin Power Rangers comic, issue 22. In the previous issue, Zordon returned to the command center right at the end of the story, after the Rangers defeated one of Finster's monsters. This issue begins elsewhere, what appears to be a bar on a planet called Analast. Straight away we find another character from the original TV series appear in this comic's retelling. It's the Wizard of Deception from the second series of the TV show. In the original series, Rita created and approached the Ghost of Darkness to send the Power Rangers back in time. He told her the Wizard of Deception can carry that out, and it also resulted in a copy of Tommy, which then resulted in us getting the Green Ranger versus the White Ranger battle. Here in the comic, Rita approaches the Wizard of Deception directly, paying him to do a job. Also notice how there's a skeleton theme going on in the pub. It's like it's referencing the Ghost of Darkness, which was essentially a skull. So Rita is hiring the wizard to make something, but he tells her that the volcano embers she brought him is not enough. What the wizard actually wants is to know the truth as to why she wants this thing to be made. She tells him she fears of the consequences if she does not take back what she foolishly gave away. What is she talking about? Could it be the Green Ranger's coin? Whatever it was, the wizard can tell she's telling the truth, and he accepts the job. Now, over at the command center, the Rangers can finally speak with Zordon again. We basically hear how the Rangers have missed having him around, with Jason filling in for Zordon during his absence. Zack even joked about shaving Jason's head. So the catch-up is all fine and dandy, with Zordon explaining to them what it was like to be stuck in between time. But then the topic of Grace and the previous Power Rangers is brought up. Jason asks why they were never told about them. Zordon tells him that the events of 1969 remain the source of some of his deepest regrets. That's understandable, as it was a rather botched up mission, resulting in the death of 3 Rangers. Zack says the way Zordon has been keeping things from the Rangers is feeling like a pattern. He wants the Rangers to trust him, but he doesn't trust the Rangers. Zordon apologizes that he may have misjudged the way he's handled things, because he wanted to shield the Rangers from the unpleasant aspects of his past. Trini says it's all worked out because they're working with Grace now, who has the technology to locate Finster's monsters. But Zordon is a bit reluctant having involvement with Grace and Promethea. This is because Promethea's technology is greater than the status quo, and he's concerned where it came from. However, the biggest issue Zordon has is a philosophical one. Grace wants to make the world a better place, which is a proactive approach. Zordon, though, says the Rangers were not designed to change the world, but to defend and protect it. Jason and Saba believe they need to work with Grace so they can tell when Finster's monsters will turn. Zordon says if that's the direction they see fit, then it's their choice, but he does caution them. What I liked about these 2 pages was that it kind of addresses the comments from the Power Rangers fanbase. Many viewers of the original show complain that Zordon always kept things from the Power Rangers. Only when things get bad does he reveal the existence of new Zords, Rangers, weapons, etc. At least in this comic, he has a reason to hide things. Moving on, Billy is making modifications to some satellites to aid in the detection of Finster's monsters. He's working with Tommy, who doesn't really seem to be doing much, as Billy's the tech expert. Even Billy tells him that Kim and Trini are a bit more talkative. And we see Tommy looking at Kimberly, so he does still have some feelings for her. Over to Kimberly and Trini, they're talking about Finster's monsters. They talk about how Finster makes them, but wonder where does their life come from. Kimberly says it's magic, which is a concept that scares Trini. The conversation shifts with Kimberly telling Trini that her dad cancelled dinner with her. She's not exactly happy that he's proposing to his current girlfriend. Things shift again as Trini asks about Kimberly and Tommy's relationship, which seemingly isn't going anywhere. Kimberly doesn't know what's going on, but Trini tells her she doesn't have to tell her, but she should be telling Tommy. It's good to see what the Rangers go through in their civilian lives, and Kimberly's reaction to her dad proposing to his girlfriend is typical of a teenager. Coupled with the relationship problems she's having with Tommy, we're kind of seeing a realistic teenage drama that we didn't fully explore in the original show. Now we're at the pocket dimension. Saba is talking to Finster and he's basically making an offer to him. Finster could stay in the pocket dimension and create paradise in his image. The pocket dimension is made up of nearly infinite energy, so Finster could create whatever he wishes. In exchange for all this, Finster must stop the current threat with his monsters. However, Finster does not want to do so because, as we learned a couple of issues ago, he likes the chaos his monsters create, as that is art. Things get quite philosophical here, which can only make sense in this comic. Including Finster's reasons for creating monsters in the original TV show may have gone over the children's heads. As this is catered for a more mature audience, it fits into the comic's continuity well. To end this scene, Finster tells Saba he's unable to control his monsters, as that would defeat the point of creating them in the first place. He wants true chaos, which is something even he cannot expect. Tommy is now having coffee with Kimberly. They're able to take their helmets off because Billy was able to shield them from Promethea's cameras. So even though the Rangers are working with Grace, they still have to keep their identities secret from Promethea's staff. After a bit of a pause, we delve into Kimberly and Tommy's relationship, or lack of. In short, they've gone from saying they like each other to Kimberly shutting it all down. We don't know why that is, because Kimberly doesn't seem to have the answer, but based on what we've seen throughout the series, it's likely to be the whole evil Green Ranger saga and the Drakon events, which have caused Kimberly to shut out Tommy. We then see Grace and Jason talking. Grace talks about Billy's internship, which he missed out on before. She didn't know what happened, but she would like to hire him because his knowledge fits in with Promethea's goals. Jason then asks Grace about the moon mission of 1969, how she was able to deal with the deaths of the 3 Rangers. She tells him she didn't deal with it well, and that she was in shock and a haze for weeks. When she asks if Jason is afraid the same will happen to him, he opens up about losing Tommy and Billy in the Drakon arc, how they put their trust in him, and how he may have let them down if they were lost for good. Even though the situation was obviously resolved, it still haunts Jason. Grace says the red helmet is heavier than any other, because that is the weight the leader must carry. That is a lot for Jason, who is only a teenager. Grace tells Jason that if there's anything she can do to make the red helmet lighter, he just has to let her know. But then an alert goes off with a monster appearing in New York. All the Rangers gear up, meaning they just energize their helmets back on, and they teleport away from Promethea. The issue closes with some mystery, as Grace appears to be withholding some information from the Power Rangers, but will tell them when the time is right. No action at all this time round. I read this issue twice. The first read was quite boring, but on the second read I was able to appreciate the characters more. We learn more of what the Rangers are going through psychologically, even what makes Finster tick when it comes to creating monsters. There are things to look forward to as well. What is the Wizard Deception working on for Rita? And what is Grace keeping from the Power Rangers? It's a nice build-up, and I hope the end result is worth the wait.